I'm Kat and I play red. Back in February, we went to a little convention in Worthing called Paradise. I did a video about that, so you can go back and look at that. It's a little one-day convention, but there's been some great little designs from newer companies there. This year, we saw Survive Alive. Now, this is a prototype of a game by Rick McGowan from Schnarf Games that's going to be coming up on Kickstarter soon. So I spoke to him at the time. I've just got the copy and we're going to have a look at it now. So let's see how it plays. Following a cataclysmic event, survivors are forced to scavenge as their only hope of staying alive. Even worse, the dead are attacking the living. As one of a few survivors, you will try to build your base, gain resources through scavenging the local area, protect your group with weaponry and defences, and build facilities to boost the morale. If you survive and gain the most influence points by the end of 6 rounds, you win the game. We start the game with all of our resource cubes in the bag. Our community map is in the middle. If you can see, this has got different areas for 1 to 2 players, 3 players and 4 players. So depending on your player count will depend how much of this map you'll actually use. We have the scavenge cards next to the board in 3 different piles. These are shuffled up in the 1s, 2s and 3s. We have our objective cards here. Now we have 3 different types of objective. Here we have our leader objective, and this will be taken by the person, in this case, who has 2 weapons built and will potentially move around the table over the course of the game. We have an instant objective here. So this is just the first player to build all 10 gardens. And then we have an end game objective, which every player has the opportunity to score. We have our character cards here, which are shuffled and ready to go. Now the player boards, there are 4 different types indicated by the symbol here. We're going to draft these in reverse player order, or alternatively just take a random one, which is what we tend to do. Got my screen here that also doubles as a cheat sheet, and my trusty pen ready to go. We're going to deal out characters which equal twice the number of players plus 1. So we're going to be playing this at 2 player. So we're going to take 5 characters. It would be 7 in a 3 player, 9 in a 4 player. And the first player is going to choose one of these and pass it on. So I'm going to take that one. Rob, are you going to take one? Just one at random. And I am going to take that one. And Rob picks one of the last 2. And the remaining one will get shuffled back into the deck. So every player starts the game with 2 characters. Now, the first thing we're going to do is write the character names on the bottom of our player sheet here. So you have the possibility for 5 characters in total. We start the game with 2. So I'm just going to write their names here, Agatha and Jojo. Right, so that is my 2 starting characters. Then we're going to collect the cubes as shown on these character cards. So I'm going to start the game with 7 brown, 6 grey, 3 red, 4 yellow and 2 2 white. So we need to have a rummage in the bag for those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 yellow, 3 red. Obviously these represent the different types of resources. Brown is wood, grey is metal, yellow is food, and I can't remember the rest. If you want to know, it will tell you in the rule book. 4, is that black or brown? Light's not great in here today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've got all my starting cubes there. Pop these back in the bag and we are ready to begin the game. The game is played over 6 rounds, which the community board here shows you. Each round has 5 phases. Spend resources, discard resources, the scavenge phase, which is optional, the event phase, round end and clean up. So the first thing we're going to do is spend our resources. Now this you would do behind your screen, but obviously I'm going to do it out in the open so you guys can see what I'm doing. So you're going to spend resource cubes as shown on the board here to build the facilities in your base. So let's have a look at what these buildings are and what they do. On all 4 sides of the board, we have our barricades. Now, these are going to add 1 defense value, which will count towards the event phase later on in the turn. We then also have watchtowers in all 4 corners. Now, as you can see, these give 2 on each side to your defense. However, the great thing about these is when they're built, you can look at the event card to see what's coming up. So that is kind of critical. Here we have our food gardens and herb gardens. So both of these gardens generate either food or herbs for you at the end of the round. We then have our beds and bathrooms. Now, at the end of every round, a character is going to require not only food, but a bed and a shower. If you can provide all of their basic needs, you will gain morale for having happy residents. Other things happen if you don't, which we will look at when we talk about the end of the round. We've then got medical rooms here. Now, you can pay herbs to heal your characters when they get wounds. The medical rooms reduce the cost of that. During the game, you can trade 4 resource cubes for 1 of anything that you want. Now, the radio here reduces that trade ratio from 4:1 to 3:1. And it will also give you 3 extra resource cubes at the end of the round. The command center here reduces your trade ratio from 4:1 down to 2:1. We then have a workshop here. This is going to reduce the cost of building facilities by 1 of these resources. We then have a forge here, which is going to reduce the cost of forging weapons. So these are the weapons at the bottom here that your character can use to fight against the zombies. So in this case, the axe costs 2 wood and a metal, and that would reduce the cost of making that weapon by 1. Finally, on our last column here, we have storage units. Now, at the end of the round, you will have to discard any resource cubes you haven't used. These storage units here allow you to carry them over to the next turn, and we start with one of those, which is rather handy. So now we've looked at that, let's have a look at what cubes I've got and what I would like to build. So let me look. Building food gardens cost 1 less wood, that's nice, and draw 1 extra resource if you've built a radio. So each character has a special ability. Make sure you have a look at what they are, because some of those are pretty handy. So the first thing I'm going to do is build my workshop, because that reduces the cost of everything else. So that costs me 1, 2 and 1. So that is the cost for my workshop. When I build a workshop, I'm going to take 1 of each of these cubes into my hand and randomly drop 1, and that is going to be my cost reduction for the rest of the game. So that one. So all my buildings will cost 1 less metal. So I'm going to colour that in just to show that I've got that. So from now on, everything costs me a bit less. I then need to start looking at my defences. So I'm going to go straight to a watchtower, which is going to cost me 2 brown and a red, because I don't pay the steel. And I'm going to colour that in. Because I've built that, I can look at the first card in the event deck, because we're going to have 1 event in this round. So let's have a look at what that is. So we're going to have 4 zombies plus 1, because we're in the first round, coming in from the north. So I built my tower in totally the wrong place. So I need to build 1 up here. So I'm going to pay 1 brown and 1 red. And that gives me 2 defense, and I need 5, so that's 2. Oh my goodness, I don't have enough of that one. But I can build some of these defences. So there's 3. So there's 3 barricades. Now the discount here applies to every building except your barricades. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So I now know I have got enough defense to block the zombies coming in. But now I need to worry about the other stuff these guys want. So, for goodness, that I can build that. Brown and red. I can always trade 4 for 1, which I'm going to have to do here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh goodness, I can build a bed. Wow. And I can't build anything else. I've got a grey and a white. Is there anything else I can build? I don't think there is. So that is going to be me sadly done for the turn. So the cubes I've spent this turn are all going to go back into the bag. Can I build anything else? No. Well, that's not very fair. So that is my spend resources phase. Then we go to the discard resources phase. I've got 2 cubes. I've got 1 storage, so I think I'm going to keep the white one, and I have to discard that metal. Now, if I was going to be scavenging, I would need the food shown on the map, 1, 2 or 3 food, And that you just put to one side ready for the scavenging phase. But I'm not doing that. So I have to discard everything. So now we would move on to the scavenging phase, which I'm not doing yet this turn. Now we're going to go to the event phase. So I would draw the top card of the deck. Oh look, it's exactly what I knew it was going to be. So we determine the strength of the zombie attack. So it's 4 zombies plus the round number. So 5 coming in from the north. So we check and I have 2 shields here and 3 here. So I have 5. So I've managed to beat off the zombies. So the first thing I'm going to do is mark off 1 on this track here. Now none of my characters are injured. They're all in pretty good health at the moment. So because of that, I also get to tick a box off here. So obviously, if we were to finish scoring at this point, I'd get 1 point from there and 3 from there. It's similar to a lot of the roll and writes, flip and fills. You're going to score the points value shown. So now we've dealt with the attack, we're going to follow the rest of this card here. So I'm going to gain 10 cubes from the bag. And because I have 2 characters, I get an additional 6. So I'm going to get 16 cubes. And I didn't build any gardens, so I've got no food coming in, so I need to hope I get food here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that is my 16 cubes that I will take into the next round, not forgetting my 1 from storage. So I'm going to pop them there. Now we move on to round end and clean up. This is the point, if you have any gardens built, you'd get resources for that. So any food gardens would give me a food, any herb gardens would give me a herb. I haven't got any yet, so that's fine. Now, each of my characters requires 1 food, 1 bed and 1 bath. So I had to pay my 2 food, and I've only got 1 bed and no baths. So if all of your characters have all 3 things, you're going to mark a box here on the morale tracks with the little smiley face. So again, that will give you endgame points. If 1 character is missing 1 requirement, nothing happens. They grumble and you don't get the morale boost. However, one of my characters is missing a bed and a bath. So I am going to lose 1 resource for each character that's missing 2 requirements. So I actually lose 1. So I am going to choose to lose, I'll lose the white that I was storing. Okay, so it's bad, but it's not terrible. We mark off round 1 because that was round 1 and move into the next round. So we pop the event card back in the deck and shuffle that up. So this round we will have a look and see if we can do some scavenging, which is going to be tricky. Oof, even more so with 1 food. Oh, not going to happen yet. Right, so then we're going to move on to round 2, and the first thing I'm going to do is spend resources. So building food gardens cost 1 less wood. So the first thing I'm going to do is remember to build a food garden this turn. Then I need to look at building some of these because otherwise I'm going to have a lot of grumpy people. So don't forget we get the 1 metal discount. I think I'm going to build the radio because this bonus here is draw an extra resource if you've built the radio, and it only costs me 2. But the problem now is I haven't built any more defences and I have no idea what is coming up in this event deck. My word, there's always a lot to do. Now, because I have the radio, I can trade 3 resources for 1, which I'm going to do. I'm going to trade, oh, what am I going to trade? 1, 2. I'm going to trade 3 resources for food. And that means I can activate my watchtower and look at the top card of the event deck. So let's have a look. East, oh my goodness. So in this case, it is going to be 4 plus the round number. So it's going to be 6 at this point. And I'm going to be in a world of pain. So I can only do 2. That's not good. So I'm going to do 1 defense. Oh. Actually, if I do this is better value for money. So I'm going to do 4 brown. So that's 1 brown. I don't have to pay the metal, and 3 for the red. I'll do that, which leaves me with a very sad and lonely grey and white, which is what I had at the end of last round, and there was nothing I could do with it then, and I don't think there's anything I can do it this time. I'm going to hurt. I'm going to take some damage. Can I do any of these? No. Right, well, you're going to witness some destruction here. So, discard my resources, store resources, scavenging, which I'm not doing again, and then we're going to draw the event card. So, 6 zombies coming in. I have a defense of 2, which is really sad. So, if the difference is between 1 and 4, which it is, all that happens is my characters get 1 wound each. If it was more than 5 difference, 1 would have to die. 4 is it's not the end of the world. Yeah. If these characters damaged, you're not going to gain this bonus at the end of the round. If your characters have 2 wounds, you can't use their ability, and if they get 3 wounds, they're dead. You can remove 1 wound by paying 3 herbs. This is reduced if you've got the first aid 10th. But I don't, and I don't have any herbs, so these guys are going to be hurting for a little while longer. So we then follow the rest of the event card, which is going to be 15 cubes this time. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I think. Yeah. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there's my 15 cubes. Then we're going to move on to the round end. So I'm going to get my bonuses for my gardens, and I'm getting 1 whole food this turn. So I get my 1 food from my food. So I need to placate my people, so I'm giving them 2 food. Now 1 can have a bed and 1 can have a bath. So I have characters missing 1 requirement and nothing happens, which is quite nice. And then we're going to shuffle the event deck, cross off round 2 and move into round 3 of the game. Now, during my draw phase, I actually was lucky enough to draw out 3 black cubes. Now, these are wild and can be used for anything. So we're gonna try and make it work so that we can go scavenging. Now, you'll see here, this actually tells you the strength of the zombies in each of the areas. So if you pay 1 food, expect to see 7 or 8 zombies. If you pay 2, it's going to be between 7 and 4. And if you pay 3, the most it's going to be is 3 zombies. So that's kind of what I'm going to aim for. Let's try this and see. But I need to have some weapons. So, brown. I am going to give, I quite like Agatha, I'm going to give Jojo some weapons. And we're going to spend 2 brown and a grey to give her an axe. And I'm going to spend 2 grey, 2 grey and a brown to give her a knife. You can only have 2 weapons because your characters only have 2 hands, presumably. These are the food I'm going to use for scavenging, so I'm going to pop that there along with Jojo, my girl. She's going to go there. Oh, I didn't take extra resources for my radio. I actually gain an extra 4 cubes for my radio. So let's take 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes. That's quite nice. So that's a bit better. So, and I'm going to build my last watchtower, which is going to cost me 2 brown. I don't have to pay that, and I pay 3 for the red. And we're going to pop that there. Because I've built the watchtower, I can look at the event cards. Now, because we're in round 3, there are 2 event cards coming up. So I get to look at both of them. Oh my gosh, 2, 4, so I need 1 down there. And east is 5. Okay, so I need 1 more here. Oh no, that's 8. My goodness. That's 7 and that's 8, and I have 4 in both. So, 4. So I can't actually deal with this much damage. So south is 4, 7, and I've got 5. So I'm going to pay for that. Pop that in storage. Let's hope scavenging picks up something good. So I've spent my cubes, I've discarded my cubes, except for the ones for scavenging and the one I've stored. So I'm spending 3 food cubes. So I take the top card off the free deck. So the first thing I do when I'm taking a scavenge action is cross off on this track here. There was only 3 zombies, which Jojo here has an attack of 4, so I beat that. Because I've beaten them, I get to take another character, which I think I'm going to need in this case. So I take the top character from the deck. Oh, that's nice. Now I get to take this character, but I also get to choose 4 cubes from the available ones here. Now I think I desperately need some food, so I'm going to take 2 food for a start, 2 food, and then I'm going to take, what do I need? I need so much stuff. I am going to take 2 brown. Now, this character and these cubes just go to the side for now because they won't come in until the end of the event phase. So, pop them in the bag. So, we put these cubes back in the bag and we cross off the location that we scavenged, which can be any one of the 3 slot buildings. This note here is for the solo mode, so, and that just goes to the bottom of the deck for now. If Jojo here hadn't been strong enough to defeat the zombies, she would have got 1 wound if there was between 1 and 4 damage, and she would have died if there was more than 5 damage. So I'm actually going to put my new character, Olivia, down there for now, because neither of these are going to be involved in the upcoming event phase. So we now draw from the event deck. So, oh look, here we go, coming in from the south, 7. Now, I only have 5 defense. If Agatha here had some weaponry, I could put her in, but she doesn't. So that's no good. I have a defense of 5 and they're attacking for 7. So there is a difference of 2. So my character, Agatha, who's in the base, takes another wound, so that's not too clever. So we'll move that event card up and we'll deal with the attack from this one. So coming from the east, 5, 8, and I have 4. So there's 4 different, so Agatha would get another wound and she's gonna die. So we turn her over and put her to the side for now. So I don't get any marks here. However, it's not all lost, because although we've lost Agatha, we've gained Olivia. So we're going to put Olivia, let's see if I can write upside down. Yeah. Oh, A's are hard. Okay. We put Olivia on my player board. There. So now we're going to get a ton of cubes. We're going to get 21 plus 9, so 30 cubes. If I had a radio tower at this point, I'd also gain extra people, which is both a blessing and a curse, because don't forget, they need a lot of stuff to keep them happy. 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14... 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, exactly. So there's my 30 cubes. I then get the 4 from my radio tower. From my radio, sorry, not my board. I haven't got a broadcast tower. And I'm going to gain 1 food from my garden. So this is all my resource cubes for the next round. That looks a bit healthier. So now we're going to do round end. I have characters with wounds, so I don't get the morale bonus. And we need 1 food, 1 bed, and 1 shower for everyone. So I pay my 2 food. I have 1 shower, 1 bed. So Olivia is going to get a shower. Jojo's going to get the bed tonight. And although they're not happy enough to get morale, they're not miserable enough for me to lose anything. So with that, my characters come back to the base. I'll just slide them up here for now. And round 3 is done, and we'll move into the 4th round. So we've played through 3 rounds. We've played through half the game. One thing I missed, I built 2 weapons, so I'd actually have this objective card. Now, if Rob were to build 2 weapons, I still keep it. However, if he built a 3rd one, he'd take it off me. So these leader objectives can bounce around the table. So we're going to have a look at how the end game scoring works. So realistically, you're going to go down here and mark your score from each of the tracks. So our top track here is the number of characters we have alive at the end of the game, and in this case I have 2, so I would gain 6 points. If you have no characters to block the zombie attack coming into the base, you're going to mark these off and get negative points. However, I'm good, so I get nothing there. I would get 1 point here, 3 here, 3 here. Now this here is for any influence points you might have gained when scavenging. Now I didn't actually gain points, I gained a character, but you can see, here's the one I did where I got a character. If I'd got this card it would have given me 2 victory points. So these are a mixture, so any points you get for scavenging would go in there, but I didn't. Morale points, I didn't manage to get any of them. Resources at the end of the game are 1 point per cube gained or stored during the final round. Now obviously I wouldn't have that many, but let's say I've got 1 stored. And then the objectives. So I'm going to get 5 from the A. Oops, backwards 5s are hard. First player to build all 10 gardens. I didn't do that one. Points for character deaths. So let's pretend that along with Agatha here, I lost another character. I would gain 1 point for that. So I would get a total of 6. And we'd add those up to 20 points. And that would be my total. And the player with the most points is the winner. So, as I said at the start of the video, this is a prototype copy. I don't know how much will change between now and the Kickstarter fulfilling, but be prepared that this might not be the exact version you see. Survive Alive is coming to Kickstarter later this year. Rick and his team from Schnarf Games will also be at UK Games Expo at the start of June. So you can go and have a look and give it a go yourself there. This game is hard. We're big fans of Hadrian's Wall. And the whole gaining resources and swapping your resources, and this has a very similar feel to that, but there is a constant fear of dread with this because you're constantly battling not only with the event cards, with the zombie attacks, but you're battling to keep your people happy and to get those bonuses. There's a lot going on and there's a lot to remember. I missed some stuff. I fully, hands up, admit that. So you do need to pay attention. The one good thing is there's no real player interaction. So you can get away with concentrating on your board and not necessarily worrying about what other people are doing. It's tough. But I guess surviving in a zombie apocalypse would be tough too. I'll put a link to the Kickstarter in the comments below when we've got it. Make sure you go and see Rick at UK Games Expo and play Survive Alive. It's neat, it's hard, it's quite thinky as well. It's good fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to click like, subscribe and all that gubbins. You know what you're doing by now. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.